your smile, now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame, I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down, 'cause with you I'm saving some, I'm saving some, I'm saving some, I'm saving some, I'm saving some.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're finally getting around to the fuel filter change on the ECODIESEL. It's another super easy service. Next to the oil change, it's probably the most common that you'll get around to. Yeah, and I'm not sure what it's going for at the dealer. Probably around 200 bucks. I'll look it up. But it is insanely easy. Like, anybody can do this service. I have a couple of, specialty tools because, like I was saying in the intro video, I've been doing my own maintenance for years now, so I've just gotten the tools that make it a little bit easier, but everything that I'm showing you here you can just do with your basic tools. You don't need the specialty stuff. That being mostly is this cup here. So this comes from Gino's Garage, and it's a cup that actually goes onto the fuel filter housing, and then you got a 3/4 inch socket on the bottom so that you can drive it off nice and easy. It's also nice too, it kind of keeps a little bit of the diesel off you. With the cup, they actually include a little bolt that goes in the bottom of the housing, which is real nice because the stock, if I remember, the stock housing has like a little Phillips screw, plastic screw that you basically draw out, and then that lets the water drain. Which, if you've done these before or seen anybody or heard anybody, don't work very well. It dribbles for a little while, and then you'll go take the housing off and it's right full of fuel. So if you actually pop that screw out, you can thread in this bolt, which is supplied with this cup, and then you just undo the bolt and you got quite a bit more drainage coming down, so you're not wearing it as much. So if you're doing your own filter changes going forward, I would recommend grabbing one of these. They're pretty cheap. There's a link in the description. Just make your life a bit easier. So that's 3/4 inch nut on the back of that. The stock housing you should be able to get with like an oil filter wrench, depending on who put it on last. If you get underneath, you should be able to maybe just take it off by hand. They're not on there super tight, or they shouldn't be anyways. Other than that, you're going to need your filter. Like I was saying, I'm using the WIX filter. It's the WF10245. Again, I'll have a link downstairs for that one. You can use the stock one if you want. I've been using these for quite a few years now. I think I got them in the packs of 3. Save a little bit of money there. You don't save a ton, but over time everything adds up. And then what you'll need, I'm sure you've heard guys saying, is you'll need something to catch the diesel. Alright, this can be a super messy job if you don't prepare yourself. Lots of guys use a big plastic bag. I found this to be the perfect size. It's about just shy of 5 inches. You want it as kind of skinny as this because I believe the filter's right next to the exhaust or the drive shaft. I can't remember. We'll get down there and have a look. It's been a while since I've done mine. But you want something skinny enough to slide it in there, and then it's so it's around, call it 4.5 to 5 inches, and just over 7 inches, and that'll get you, once you've loosened it off enough, you can kind of undo the rest by hand, and then all the good stuff falls in here. So I would recommend grabbing yourself, just like this is an old protein vitamin thing when I used to work out and take care of myself. Not so much anymore. But anything will work. Anything of this size here, or like you can use a big, a large freezer bag. Works well too. Now I just need some rags I got leftover dinner serviettes, or what the hell they're called. Gloves. I always wear gloves when I'm messing around with diesel fuel. You don't have to, but it's nasty. 3/4 inch if you're using this, or just a filter wrench. Possibly a large pair of channel locks just to kind of break it. You should be able to get up there and break it and then just do it off by hand. So yeah, let's get after it. You don't have to warm the truck up or nothing like that. You're just going to be dumping fuel. So Yeah, let's get truck warmed up and we'll get her back in. Alright guys, so we're getting underneath the truck. Jesus. I really should have put my bigger tires on. Oh! Okay, if I can pull this angle off, I think I deserve that like, you know? Hopefully you guys can see that. Ugh. So we're between the exhaust and the drive shaft. Directly between the two. The filter housing's up there. It might be tough to see on camera, but I've got my drain bolt, right, that comes with my my coupling from Gino's garage, but you're going to probably just have a plastic screw. So what you're going to need to do is get your bag or your container with a short stubby Phillips screwdriver and just loosen that screw off, right, and then the water is going to come dribbling out and you want to catch it. You know, I would rig something up and just let that water dribble for, you know, at least 5 minutes. It just takes forever. That's part of the reason why they supply this bolt when you buy the coupling. So, if you don't have the bag and you want to go with the hard route, the reason is this little one here just fits so perfectly. It actually sits on top of the drive shaft. Once I put it in there, it just sits like that. It's perfect. So, let's see here, I gotta rearrange my body. Pretty much trapped underneath the rear diff here. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead, I got my 3/4 socket. I'm gonna loosen my bolts. Man, this is tricky. Getting it loose. Get a couple rags ready because even with the bag or whatever catching device you have, look at these rags. These are pathetic. What the fuck? What was I thinking? You know, you can still make a mess. Basically for me, I'm just threading that. I'm just gonna let it all fall in here. I don't really care. I'll just fish it out later. There it goes. So now, look at that. Not a single drip. Mint. Ha. You know, it took a couple of years of practice, but so I'm just letting it all drain. You can hear the flow, right? Like you get quite a bit more flow with this bolt. So, like I was saying, you might want to consider picking it up. It just makes it easier. I've got my coupling ready, but now after this drains and you don't hear no more dribbles, but you're gonna see it, it's gonna basically be dribbling like pretty bad. You're gonna get your oil filter wrench ready, or I guess by the looks of things up here, you could probably use a large set of vice grips, or channel locks rather, like slip joint pliers, whatever the hell you wanna call them. And just to get a couple half turns out of it to get it moving. Okay, it's going pretty quiet now. Get a couple rags ready because it will still drip a little bit. Not that diesel fuel is all that bad, but it's more of a lubricant. Alright. Look at that. Maybe one drip. Take the coupling with the 3/4. Or in your case, you're just gonna have wherever you got. Oh, there goes the drip. Now, with one hand, this is tricky. Usually I'm where the camera is, it's a hell of a lot easier. For the sake of video, I'm really putting myself in a dangerous situation, jeez. Alright, so now I've got my... Oh. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's an O-ring on here for compression too, so it does take a few turns to get this thing really moving. Okay, there. So now it's pretty damn loose. I can probably get it from hand, so I'm gonna go get my plastic bag or whatever. You might want to empty it out. And then just get it situated underneath again. And just like with the bolt, I'm gonna work this off and just let it drop right in there nice and easy. Because we'll fish it out after, right? Because we just don't want to make a mess. Alright. The filter should stay inside of the housing. What you could do too, like right now I can hear fuel coming out. I can actually see the O-ring. I'm not sure if you guys can or not. I can hear dribbles. You know, this all depends on how much of a mess you want to make. If you just don't give a shit, just let it ride. Yeah, she's really pouring out now. The key to this, I find, if you do want to keep it nice and clean, is just to work it back a few turns. Right now it's just pissing out. Alright, so I've turned it, I gave it a little bit of a pull, and the filter is stuck up there. There's actually a little, it's almost like the oil filter. You know, you push it up on. So I just grabbed with my 2 fingers the filter, I just pulled it down, and now it's all inside of this container. Now I will get a rag ready, just in case when I remove all this, there's a mess, but it should be all in here. There we go. Yeah, and then it's all contained right in my fancy little vitamin stack container. And I'll show you what exactly is going on here. But this is the actual suction here, so you want to be careful. You don't jam any dirt in there. But you know, I might leave a rag here. You're gonna get some residual dribbling going on here. It just likes to go right center of the drive shaft. There you go. Okay, so let's bring this to the top and we'll have a look at it. Alright, so we're back up top. Let's grab some gloves here. I'll show you guys kind of how this works in here. Okay, so this is exactly how I brought it down. Nothing fancy. Came flying out like that. Now, I don't know if you could tell by the end, I was having a little bit of an issue getting the filter off with, there's a little bit of a ring around the actual, call it like a stem, that sucks the fuel up. And there's a little rubber grommet on these things, so when you pull that filter off of the housing, you kind of got to pull it and give it a bit of a wiggle, and it'll pop over this this little rubber ring. And then there's my filter there. So I change my filters every other oil change, so it's whatever that is, 32,000 kilometers. I go 16,000 intervals, so you know, that's what I'm dealing with there. I've always used SO diesel fuel. You know, the color of this filter is not an indication of the quality of fuel you're getting. You know, sometimes they're gray, sometimes they're black. Like this is kind of in between, to be honest with you. And yeah, so anyways, so there's the filter. I'll just pull the new one out of here. Put that in there. Now you can see how much diesel fuel comes out. Hopefully you can see that nice. But it's quite a bit, okay? So, you know, pull this out of here. Now my bolt's in the bottom of this, which is the shitty part, but I'll have to fish that out after. But that is all the fuel that you get. I mean, this container is almost halfway full, basically. So, I recommend getting a solid container. You can use a plastic bag though, they do work. Alright, so there's my housing. Like I was saying to you guys, you're going to have a plastic screw, and it stays trapped in there. That's part of the reason why it takes so friggin' long to finish. Like, so now look at, when you basically buy this this the couplings down there, but you've seen it. When you buy the coupling, you get this bolt, okay? And now what you got to do is actually, I think I took the screwdriver and I actually hammered the bolt out because it's plastic, and it kind of broke the little bolt, and it didn't ruin my threads, thankfully. And then I'm able to screw this right into there, okay? Now I've had this bolt with the original O-ring for quite a while, and you've really got to inspect these O-rings, okay? Because mine broke just enough where the one oil change, thankfully I caught it right away. You know, it started dribbling and it started coming out down the road, and I actually noticed my fuel gauge going down way more than usual, and I got underneath the truck and sure as shit fuel was going all over the place. So I was able to catch it early. I just went to hardware store and I got an O-ring kit. I found something that fits right around there. So just really inspect your O-rings each time you change them. You know, that was I had quite a few kilometers on the thing, so you know they do deteriorate, and they get crushed each time. That's kind of what keeps the suction, or keeps it nice and tight. You know, that ring right there. So just have an eye on that if you did buy one of these, okay? So basically, to change it, we got our new filter. Pretty basic. Clean it off because it's been sitting on a shelf for a while. It's pretty basic. You just put our bolt back in. Now these bolts, they really don't go on very tight. I don't know if there's a torque spec or not, but I mean, I'm just literally going to give her one of those. That's it. Now the filter, try to keep it clean. It goes down in there. It should click right in. Oh, I've got it backwards. So you can see, it's just like the oil filter housing. You know, they're grooved, they sit in, and then you just give it a little push. It doesn't rotate, but it kind of moves freely, just like that. Okay, and now, I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. So we'll get back underneath the truck. You should probably change this O-ring as well. Like each fuel filter should come with a new O-ring. And it's a good idea to change it. So let's go ahead and do that. And try to remember what groove it goes on, right? Because if you get it too far down, you might run into issues. Okay, so now it's ready to be reinstalled. We'll go back underneath the truck. It's pretty straightforward. I probably won't go hardcore with my camera angle like I did last time. That was pretty insane. I'm basically going to just take my my filter, kind of slide it right above the drive shaft, and like I was saying, this rubber nipple here, just give it a couple wiggles, push it up into, and start tightening it down, okay? Yeah. Alright, so we're going back underneath the truck. This is the easy part. Like I said, you're gonna get on that nipple and just give her a little push, a wiggle and a push. And careful, right? And go straight up. Don't bend that stem. All I'm doing is I'm kind of making sure I'm not cross-threading it. I'm pushing the filter up and rotating. I can see my O-rings slowly disappearing. I'm gonna get it as tight as I can by hand. Now you don't need to come onto these things, right? I'll post the torque specs if I can find them. But personally, I've never torqued one of these housings, right? They're just plastic. Make sure you're tightening. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, Ed. Alrighty, so there we go. Now you're gonna want to give it two hands and just, like I said earlier with that O-ring, it's compressing, so I'm just gonna go nice and easy. Oh, there we go. I got resistance. That's all I need. Now, if you got your little plastic drain plug, you're just gonna basically close it up. Me, I got the bolt, so I'm just tightening it like that. That's it. That's all she wrote. Let's get back up top now. Get my friggin' brand spanking new light out of here. Alright, so we're back from underneath the truck. I've got my filter screwed on nice and tight. You know, I just tightened it enough where I could feel a bit of the resistance, and that's it. So now the next step is to take the key, put it in your hand, put it in the ignition, and just turn it over once and prime the pump, okay? You know, you can hear all the truck kind of starting, all the accessories and things like that. Just prime it about 5 times, and then that should fill the housing and you can turn it over. I can tell you from personal experience, one time I completely forgot to do that. I just went in, turned it over, and it started fine. You know, there's still fuel in the system, the injectors fired, no issues at all. The housing fills up pretty quick, so if you forget, it's fine. Best practice is to prime it. Other than that, that's pretty much the fuel filter change. I mean, it's really basic. Like I said, a lot of the service on this truck is they're pretty easy. If you've never been in there before, maybe you want to look ahead, no big deal. Yeah, if it helped you out, hit the like button. If you're maintaining your own Ram 1500, this video is for the EcoDiesel fuel filter change, so you know it's more geared towards the EcoDiesel guys, but a lot of the videos I'm making for this video series are for the Ram 1500 in general, right? So you can stand and benefit from a lot of the stuff here. Consider subscribing if you want to stick around. And yeah, other than that, we're just going to keep moving on down the line. I think I'll hit the front differential. And after that, geez, we got the transmission. And I will get into some of the emissions equipment, if you have it. Alright guys, so yeah, thanks for watching and we'll catch up to you next time.